What up, folks? Once again, it's your boy Tim. As you can see, this video is titled, I actually had a good week driving rideshare. In this case, driving for Lyft. Excuse me, just getting over a cold, so I've almost damn near lost the ability to speak, so I'm going to see if I can make it through this video. For this week, they brought back, for the first time in a long time, a bonus. Guaranteed earnings of $225 if you drive a minimum of 16 passengers. And they brought it between, I believe it was Monday and Friday or something like that. If you did 16 passengers in between Monday and Friday, they would guarantee you'd make $225. I did it. I did 8 passengers on Monday after work. After work, I did another 8 on Tuesday and reached the earnings guarantee. Did another video on that earlier this week to show you the pay issues with that. Well, they brought it again for this weekend between Friday and Sunday. And here it is Saturday afternoon, and I did it and completed it again. So I just completed my 16th passenger, and I just want to show you what it's like with the bonus and what it's like driving for Lyft or Uber without a bonus, essentially driving as normal before they provide these incentives to get other drivers on the road. Okay, here's my numbers real quick. I'm going to make this a short video, hopefully. I made, for these 2 earnings guarantees, a total of $473.93. That's for doing all 32 trips. So $473.93 divided by 32, that means I made an average of $14.81 per trip. That is actually not bad. That's also, if you divide the 11 hours and 14 minutes I was on the road, logged in, that would come up to roughly $43 per hour, minus about 3/4 of a tank for fuel, and I'll explain that. But making $43 an hour on average doing rideshare is not bad in any market. However, this is only because of the earnings guarantee, and that's what the purpose of this video is. Now, if you look at my page here, giving you the numbers, you see the $473.93 a minute up, or 93 cents I made, being on the road 11 hours, 14 minutes, or whatever the hell, being logged in. Now, they got me down as being booked with passengers 8 hours. I don't know why there's a 3-hour discrepancy, because I wasn't sitting around much waiting for passengers. I guess, logged in or maybe driving to them. I don't know how that works, but 3 hours of unexcused time, I don't know where they got that from, but I don't give a shit about that. Tips, I got $15.17 in tips total, and that to me is pathetic. Out of all 32 passengers, 4 of them tipped. I got a tip for $2, one for $5.17, one for $3, and one for $5. That is what, 1/8? 32 divided by 4? That is 1/8, I believe. I don't know what the hell. Maybe I'm getting the numbers wrong, but yeah, that's very little in terms of tips. Not only is it a little bit of an amount, but in regards to the number of passengers, 4 out of 32. And I get out and help with bags, help with folks at the door and all of that shit. So it's not like I'm a mean asshole when they get in here. I'm really nice. I got XM radio, you can turn on whatever you want. And I'm in a big SUV. So that just shows you providing a cheap service to passengers who are looking for economy, what that has done to tipping in this industry. Because I drove for cabs about 15 years ago. In the taxi market, passengers were way more likely to tip. So the tipping industry has been destroyed with Uber and Lyft compared to what it used to be. It's not to say that all passengers don't tip. I mean, 4 of mine did, but it used to be the percentage of tippers was way more higher than that. Anyhow, here's the main gripe, not necessarily with the tips, it's with the base fare itself. If you look at my numbers, the ride earnings are $134.21. That means if you take away the bonus they gave this week and go back to what they used to give, which was nothing, you just pick passengers up and drop them off for base fare, That $473.93 I made this time would have actually been $134.21. That's all it would have been. If you notice, it shows right there, my earnings guarantees, $315.75. Like I say, remember, if you do 16 rides, they guarantee you'll earn $225. I did it 32, so I did it twice. I did 16 rides Monday and Tuesday, and I did it again Friday and Saturday. So basically, I should have earned $225 times 2, which is $450, which I did. But it goes to show you, if those earnings guarantees were not there, that they had to add $315.75 to my pay to make sure the earnings guarantee happened. That shows how far off that you make driving for base fare compared to those earnings guarantees. I averaged, with their earnings guarantees, on average, $14.81 for those trips, those 32 trips. If you average them out, $473.93 divided by 14, that means I average $14.81 per trip. If you take away the earnings guarantees, I average $4.19 per trip. $4.19 per trip. That $43 an hour I made drops down to $12.20 minus 3/4 of a tank of gas. Now, how did I do 32 trips? 3/4 of a tank of gas, plus or minus a few liters here and there. Well, I am extremely selective on my trips. As I stated in my previous video, which I encourage you to watch, went viral, give you all kinds of strategies and tips on how to maximize your earnings, linked in the description. I am a huge proponent of using strategies to make your money work for you, such as don't do airport trips, stay away from bus stations, even up to and including grocery stores and shit like that. I try to don't do special favors, don't wait for people, all of that stuff. Will you get tipped more? I don't think so, because I waited for a few passengers out of my 32 that didn't tip. And I got out, I mentioned this in my previous video. A lady loaded up my SUV with groceries, and I walked her to her doorstep, made about 6 trips doing it. She didn't tip me a penny. So being nice to people, it'll help. But if only such a few people tip in the first place, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. So in this business, don't do it for tips. It's just because of the way, and like I said before, I've been driving since 2014, off and on between jobs and things like that. And when Uber came to my area, I was driving a cab at the time. When Uber came to my area, one of the things they were promoting to passengers is it is a cashless transaction, and for them not to worry about tips anymore because tipping is in the fare. So Uber at the time, Lyft didn't exist, but Uber at the time literally destroyed the tipping culture by telling the passengers you don't have to worry about the tip is in the fare, which made no damn sense at all because the fares were about 1/3 the price of a taxi. So how a passenger could think that they're paying the driver 1/3 of what they used to pay taxi drivers and somehow are tipping them too should have made no sense. But you can't blame the passengers. They're looking for something for cheap. And if you're in the car driving and willing to do it for them, they're not concerned with how much you're making, which is why today, on my 15th trip, I left someone. I took them to a weave shop. She had me waiting outside for 10 minutes. I waited for her there, and then she wanted to take me to a dollar. She wanted me to stop her off at a Dollar Tree on the way home. Now, that's 2 stops in the middle of a trip. Lyft don't even allow you to do that. Anyway, I let her get out the car at Dollar Tree. I gave her like 3 minutes, and I drove off. We make 9 cents a minute. 9 cents a minute in my market waiting on people. So when I dropped her off at the weave shop and waited on her for 10 minutes, I made 90 cents. I'm trying not to swear, folks. I'm trying not to swear. But when she got out at the Dollar Tree, boom, I'm out of there. And, of course, I get paid for the trip anyway. But when I say be selective on your trips, when you're doing earnings guarantees and streak bonuses and things like that, your money is in the quantity, not the quality. When they tell you do 16 trips and you'll make a minimum earnings guarantee, your earnings are stronger in doing shorter trips. I'd rather do 16 trips making $3 or $4 a trip driving a mile or two than having those 16 trips at long lengths, because we can pay 72 cents per mile at my market. I've already told you driving for base fare is bullshit. So I don't want to drive 10 miles at 72 cents. That's only $7.20. 10 miles at 72 cents a mile is $7.20. That ain't worth it. I'd rather simply drive a mile or two to reach that 16 passengers for that $225 in earnings, because $225 divided by 16 is an average of $14 per trip. At 72 cents a mile, none of my trips are going to average 14 bucks. How much driving do you need to do? How many miles do you need to drive at 72 cents a mile to equal $14? When I just told you 10 miles only equals $7.20. Most passengers in my market are not going more than 5 or 6 miles. You need to drive somebody damn near 20 miles to make that 14 bucks. So if you already know you're not going to come anywhere near the 14 bucks and they're going to pay you for 14 bucks anyway, drive as little as possible. Don't, if you're going to pay me for 14, you're going to pay me 14 bucks, automatically then I want the trip to be as short as possible. So that's what I do. And I make a conscious effort to avoid trips that are likely to be long distance. And I do not drive more than 5 miles to pick someone up. One of the benefits in the earnings guarantee market, you can be selective. If you're doing streak bonuses, which I like also, but in regards to streak bonuses, you can't be very selective, because they want you to do those trips in succession or they won't pay you the streak bonus. In earnings guarantee, you can turn shit down. And that helps you out in your earnings. Don't drive very far to pick people up. Avoid airport trips. You don't have to drive way the hell outside of your regional area. In a streak bonus, if an airport trip pops up and a passenger jumps in your vehicle and they want to go 20, 30, 40 miles outside of your metropolitan area, you got to do all of that to earn that streak. And that could mean taking someone to a different town and having to drive all the way back with no one in your vehicle at your own expense. There's a lot of losses that can happen in streak bonuses. In earnings guarantee, during those 32 trips, I probably turned down 7 or 8 trips going to the airport and picking people up. And I even turned down 3 or 4 trips taking people to airports. I told you in my previous video that I'm plugging again about all of these tips and strategies. I implore you to watch. Stop before you get to someone. Remember, Uber and Lyft does not allow you to see where passengers are going until you get them in your vehicle. Do not do that. Stop about 100, 200 feet before you get to that location. Swipe arrived, look at your device, and it'll tell you where they're going before they're in your car, oftentimes before they even see you. And you can make your decision if it is in your best interest to make that trip happen. I was doing that throughout my 32 trips, and about 7 or 8 of them, I canceled them. 7 or 8 of them I canceled because it was not going to be worth my effort. Because a few of them were driving to a neighboring city about 30, 40 miles away that is more popular than where I'm at now. So I'm not going to drive there. And there's just no benefit to driving to that town, because coming back, no one's going to be in my vehicle. That's going to be 30 to 40 miles coming back empty. Not going to do that. So I saved a lot of money by swiping and looking where folks were going before doing it. And I saved a hell of a lot of time too, because like I told you, you want your trips to be short when you're in earnings guarantee. Let me know in the comments. I mean, in the video here, but you've seen the numbers. Subscribe to the damn channel. This is what we talk about here in addition to other things. We'll talk about that on previous videos, but feel free to subscribe. And I do respond to any and all comments. Once again, it's your boy Tim. Catch you later.